Hi everyone. Often during your PhD, as a PhD student, you may suffer from something called imposter syndrome. Now, when I say PhD student, I also mean any student who's doing research. We suffer from something called imposter syndrome. Now, what is imposter syndrome and how do we deal with it? So, imposter syndrome is when students start doubting their abilities and they feel as if they don't deserve to be doing that kind of a research work because they are not as knowledgeable or as competent or as experienced as the other people are who they are looking at or who they are working with or who might be supervising them or who might be guiding them. So you start to instantly compare yourself to other people and feel that you are not as good enough. Now let me tell you that it is not only students, research students who suffer from it. Academics suffer from it on a daily basis. So even when you finish your PhD, you will find that you are suffering from this syndrome at times. So this is nothing to do with whether you have finished your research or not. It has to do with something about how you feel about yourself, even though you may be very knowledgeable and very experienced. Now, how did I deal with it? So I have gone through this as myself as well, where I have felt that as an imposter, where I felt that I am not the right person to probably do a PhD. So remember that during this time you have to tell yourself that you are learning, and not only when you are doing your PhD or your research work, even when you have finished it, you have to keep on telling yourself that you are learning. You can never know it all, and always be humble enough to even acknowledge what you have learned, and that even though you may know a lot about a certain area, there is always scope to learn. So if you keep yourself humble and keep yourself open to learning, imposter syndrome will not affect you. Imposter syndrome only starts to affect us when we let our ego come into play, and we start to think that either we know a lot or we deserve to get that attention and respect because we have finished a PhD or because we have published a certain number of papers or we are part of a certain project. If you always keep yourself humble and the fact that you are always going to learn something new, whether from someone more experienced or less experienced, it will help you to deal with the imposter syndrome. When you feel the imposter syndrome, tell yourself that you are learning, you will read more, you will learn more. People who you may be looking at and comparing yourselves to have probably spent more years learning something or doing something, or they have sacrificed more to learn more about that particular topic. So give yourself some time, especially if you are a beginner, if you have just started your PhD. Give yourself some time. By the time you finish, you will know a lot more. And the point here is not to impress others. The point here is to impress yourself. Remember, you only get imposter syndrome when you start comparing yourselves to others. So if you don't compare yourselves to others, but you compare yourself to your own self, then you will not have a problem with this imposter syndrome, because every day if you focus on learning, you will learn more, you will know more than what you did the day before. So only compare yourself to your own self and see if there is a growth in your knowledge, if there is a growth in your skills level, and how different are you from 6 months from now, or 1 year from now, or even 3 weeks from now. So if you focus only on learning and continue to do so with a very humble attitude and an open mind to learning, then you will be able to deal with the imposter syndrome. And acknowledge if you don't know something. It's nothing wrong. You can acknowledge that you don't know something. Maybe you think that you should know it, maybe others don't. Maybe it's something that you have created in your own mind, in your own perception. So be humble enough to accept if you don't know something, and then learn it. Once you learn it, then you will have no issues when people talk about a certain topic the next time around, right? And you can never know everything about a topic. So just ignore the imposter syndrome whenever you suffer from it, or focus only on learning, focus on growing yourself, and you will be all right. Okay, and in the comment section, let me know how you guys deal with imposter syndrome and whether what I said made any sense to you or not. Thank you for watching today's video. And